You're listening to Tavern Sports Radio Network.
Show me the money! Show me the money!
Welcome to part 2 of the Show Me the Money podcast. This is going to be the episode where these 5 guys actually sit down and make their picks together. So that way they can kind of see, voting either with each other or against each other, who's going to win this tournament. So let's head into the first conference, or first side of the conference, I should say. Let's start with the Eastern Conference. Game number 1, UConn Stetson. I have a feeling I know where this one's going to lean toward.
Can we just not talk 116s and 215s? I just don't think it's worth it. If we're built, it's like what, 4 and however different? Many all time.
Unless anybody
4 and however many all
what
time.
What if we're different?
I think we still should go through and talk about them because
we're building a bracket.
Stats.
We have
to
pick.
We're building a bracket. So let's
So 116 it could be a lot faster, but then we're gonna get to these 6 whatever. What is it, the seeding? Or like what just
6-11s.
I'm gonna share it on the screen
Ethan,
that way. That way everybody can see it.
Thank you, Ethan.
Okay.
Gotcha.
I just have it on my phone, yeah.
Let's talk about this a little bit, even though we don't have to deep dive this, right? We all know who UConn is, back-to-back champion, potential back-to-back champions. They're trying to make a run here. I might have just jinxed them. Like we said earlier, first tournament appearance ever for Stetson. Terrible defensively, 214th overall in Ken Palm. They do have a stud in Jalen Blackman, like we mentioned in part 1, who's 38.5% from deep, over 280 attempts. I'm trying to pull up their more efficient numbers. Here we are. Out of the A-Sun, Stetson, 100th adjusted offense and 342nd adjusted defense. Tempo-wise, 257th. So they are a very, very slow team. I think we all are taking UConn here, and I think maybe even to cover a double-digit spread.
I don't want to talk spreads. I mean, we're a ways away from getting any kind of number, any kind of lines on this.
I agree, though. I think they could cover double digits here.
Gotcha.
Yeah, more than likely. But
on the counter, UConn actually the number 1 overall offense and the 11th overall defense as of today. So number 1 offense in the country versus a bottom.
I was wrong.
We
have lines.
Yeah.
For this episode, fellas, we're only talking who we think is winning.
Yeah, win, lose, yeah.
So
that way Ethan can be a part of it.
Does anybody disagree on UConn?
No, it's going to be UConn.
No.
Gotcha.
Next game that we go to is Florida Atlantic versus Northwestern.
Before we get into this one, let's mention if you're listening to us on Spotify, maybe hop over to the YouTube so you can watch us fill this bracket out so that you know what we're talking about.
Good little intake there. Florida Atlantic, the 8 seed coming out of the American Conference, 25-8 overall with the 16th best offense in the country and the 109th adjusted defensive efficiency team in the country here. Facing off against Northwestern, the 30th best offense, but the 72nd best defense. So I think those numbers kind of sway more towards Northwestern here. And I really like Boo Buie as their star player. He is able to take over games when he needs to. So I personally will take Northwestern here. What do you guys feel?
I'm going to counter your Boo Buie with Jonell Davis from Florida Atlantic. And I counter because Northwestern is 310th in opponent 3-point shooting percentage. Their opponents connect on 35.9% of their 3-point shots. And Florida Atlantic's Jonell Davis shoots his 3-pointers at 43.4% on the year.
Wow.
The guy's really a bucket. I mean, he's 18.2 points per game, and he's 85% from the charity stripe. I know when we were initially talking about it, we all kind of hopped on Northwestern, but if Janelle Davis gets going, look out.
All right, so let's do person by person. Ty, who you picking?
Go ahead and give me Northwestern here.
Josh?
It's a hard one. I think the group's going to end up going Northwestern, so just to give them a vote, I'll take FAU. But I think this could go really either way.
Parker, who you got?
I'm going Northwestern. They got two guys right now shooting 40% from the 3-point line, with another guy shooting 30 some percent. So they're playing really good basketball right now, heating up towards the end of the season. So look for them to make a good stand right here.
All right, and then Clark, who do you got?
I'm going with Northwestern.
Okay. And then Cole, for shits and giggles, who would you have chosen?
Also Northwestern.
Okay.
Just
Next-
one more note. These teams are similar on their defensive numbers. Florida Atlantic allowing 73.3 points per game, Northwestern allowing 69. Nice. But Florida Atlantic scores not on average 9 more points per game than that Northwestern squad. So again, just something to look out for.
All right, let's go into the 12-5 seed. You have San Diego State versus University of Alabama, Birmingham. So, like I said, a 5-12 seed, generally a pretty good upset area right there.
San Diego State coming off a crazy run from last year too. I don't know about the repeat, but I also don't know about the Blazers of UAB. Does anybody have a strong opinion one way or the other here?
I'm
going San Diego State.
I'm gonna split you here. My first impression, I'm getting UAB. He's been shooting the ball pretty well.
No, I'm taking San Diego State. I just don't think UAB is going to beat them.
Gotcha. As far as numbers go, San Diego State 21st overall in KenPom, 62nd best offense and 9th ranked defense. Like we said, that defense can be sweltering at times for other teams. UAB, man, they are a little bit of a scroll here on KenPom. They're the 106th
106.
overall team coming out of the American. They did get the AQ by winning against Temple. Remember 2 weeks ago, there was the betting scandal of UAB over Temple. So that's interesting to see that Temple made it to the championship game. UAB, the 59th best defense, but 59th ranked offense, but the 202nd ranked defense, even though San Diego State here doesn't have a super high powered offense, 62nd in the nation against the 200th ranked defense, like I said. I mean, I think they're going to have their way with them. So I will be on San Diego State as well here.
I'm going to tell you, Tyler, I'm also taking San Diego State.
That pretty much locks up the pick for San Diego State, unless anybody had any arguments about that.
I mean, yeah, I was going to go San Diego State. So.
Okay. And then the next game that we have is number 4 Auburn, number 13 Yale. I'm pretty sure is there anybody who's not going Auburn, because I feel like that one's pretty locked
I like
up.
Auburn a lot. I like Auburn to the Final Four.
Yeah.
Ooh, I don't know about that.
They
got
Auburn.
two tough teams.
I mean, this
Auburn's a tough team in the middle of this bracket.
this East is fucking murderer's row.
All right.
Final Four though.
You're running
we'll get to
UConn
that when
or
we get to
Iowa
it.
State.
We'll get there when we get there.
We'll get there when we get there.
All
right.
I just
get there
want
we get there.
I just want to point out, let's dive into it, even though we are all on one side. Let me find the Ivy League champ Yale, who, interestingly enough, had an interesting game today against Brown. That, thank God they did, save me a parlay win. We were about to go even deeper into the hole on this last 2 days of the conference tournaments. Where the fuck is Yale? There they are, 84th 84th ranked Ken Palm team, 89th offense versus the 90th in the 90th defense, stacking up against Auburn, who is at the 10th overall offense and 4th overall defense. So, gonna be a tough one for Yale, but give me Auburn for sure.
You start finding a few upsets here, boys.
I'm right there. Well,
we got one so far.
We're only on the first part of the bracket too. We're still.
Isn't 8-9 really an upset? I mean, statistically speaking, historical wise, the 9 wins that matchup more than the 8.
Really?
Yeah,
0.514.
Well, let's get into BYU and Duquesne then.
Yeah, I
we
feel
all taking Auburn, right?
Auburn's already selected. I feel like this next one is also kind of decided already, but I could be wrong. It is BYU versus Duquesne.
So the Super Soakers of BYU are 11th in offense and 48th in defense.
The Super Soakers.
Yes, the Super Soakers.
It took a second for me.
Whereas Duquesne is the 166th offense. However, they're the 28th overall defense out of the A10 here, guys. They were one of the bid stealers. Duquesne should not have been here. They stole an A10 bid, potentially keeping Oklahoma or Indiana State out. One of those teams. So that's who you've got here. I think it might be an interesting game. I really do.
I think it could be a good game, but I don't think Duquesne's going to win. BYU sees teams with good defenses in the Big 12 every week. So I don't think they're going to have a problem with them at all. But it could be a good game.
BYU hits the second most three-pointers a game at 11.1. And Duquesne allows where'd it go?
They allow 31.7 on the three-point percentage line.
I was looking at
53rd in the country. They're 53rd in defending the three-point line. So I think that's kind of the big thing with BYU and what we saw in the Big 12 tournament. If they can't hit their threes, they're kind of chopped.
Yeah, but they do have 4 guys that shoot over 36% from 3. I mean, so they shoot them and they hit them.
I mean, I'm gonna say BYU here. I don't think this will be the 6-11 upset, but especially because Duquesne didn't have a great regular season. And however, they are on a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 game win streak. But the teams that really have to heat up in their conference tournaments don't do phenomenal in the dance. So I will take BYU, but I hope these boys can hit their threes.
Next game that we have is number 3 Illinois versus number 14 Morehead State.
My favorite team.
I would be shocked if anybody goes number 14, but is anybody opposed to the number 3 team Illinois?
Not opposed to it, but worth mentioning. This is good on good. Morehead State's top 20 in opponent scoring, and Illinois is 8th in offense. So kind of good on good here, but yeah, I don't think Morehead gets it done. I'd be surprised.
Morehead State, 124th adjusted offense and 120th adjusted defense. However, with that being said, Morehead is at 9th in opponents' points per game, 6th in opponent field goal percentage. Their big issue is they're a terrible free throw shooting team, but they do play slow as hell, 336th in the nation. So there's a chance. I mean, we've seen this Illinois team struggle at times against lesser opponents. This is a team that if they get their way and they get a couple good stops and slow the pace down, could cause issues here. Khalil Thompson is 43.5% or 9th in the nation from deep. So watch out for Morehead State if they can start shooting the ball real well. There is a chance there.
All right, here's where things get interesting. We have number 10 Drake with number 7 Washington State. You know,
We're gonna-
most
We're
of
gonna
us
get
are
called homers.
most of us are Iowa
Yeah.
guys, so I feel like I know where everybody's gonna vote on this one, but I could be wrong. Where Josh, let's start with you. What team you picking in this matchup?
I'm gonna go Drake.
Okay.
Wasn't quite ready to start talking about it, but I am gonna go Drake. They have Washington State does have the 31st overall defense at 66.9 points per game allowed. That's pretty good, but Drake does not turn the ball over, and Drake doesn't get blocked. I mean, if they get into the paint, they put up good shots and they don't get blocked.
Cole, what are you feeling on this game?
Drake, I don't think Washington State's fast enough to keep up with them.
Okay. Ty, what do you got for me?
I don't go off stats. How I pick March Madness is strictly vibes.
Love that.
I don't think that.
I love that.
As far as vibes go for this Washington State team, they've beat Arizona not once but twice.
I also think Arizona's a bunch of frauds.
I don't hate that either, Cole. I'm not against you there in that opinion. Washington State here, diving into the numbers, even though Cole doesn't agree with them, defensively, 35th in effective field goal percentage. However, they don't get a ton of turnovers here. However, they do get a ton of offensive rebounds, being the 62nd in the nation. And they defend the 3-point really well. However, they don't shoot a ton of free throws, but they don't also foul a lot. So this game is going to be really interesting as far as tempo goes. They're 64.8, and that's 316th in the nation. So that is a super slow team as well here. Drake, 51st overall in the country. We said in part one, Washington State being 42nd in the nation, Drake being at 51. Drake is 150th tempo in the country, so a little bit faster than Washington State. But I'm going to take Washington State here, I think, guys. And I like Drake. I really do. But it's a struggle. They don't defend the 2-point well, they're 246th in the nation there. And they don't block a lot of shots, generate a lot of steals. So I'm going to go ahead and take Washington State.
Cole,
Okay, so
Cole took Washington State too.
No, he took Drake.
He took Drake.
No.
All right, I'll go next.
Okay.
I'm gonna even it out and let Parker decide here.
Oh
I'm
boy.
taking Washington State. I don't think this is the 7-10 upset that's gonna happen in this tournament, personally. But we'll talk about the upset I think is gonna happen later on. But I think Washington State will take this game.
Parker
I'm
split
gonna
up.
go with Drake.
Yeah.
Taking the Bulldogs. I'm putting a split. We're gonna have to flip a coin. Is this gonna be our first mascot, our special introduction? Is Allie gonna come pick a mascot for us to pick?
Have Allie take the tiebreaker.
Are we tied?
No. I'm
No.
not picking at all. Parker split
took
it,
the tie.
so yeah.
Yeah.
Ethan, if you were to pick, what was your mascot going to be?
Oh, I would have gone with Drake. I said, I watched Drake at Arch Madness. They were different than most college basketball teams that I have seen play in the sense of they were hard workers. It's not often that I see hard workers. A lot of the stats that you mentioned, Ty, kind of followed suit to that saying for myself. Hard or good work off on the boards. Just overall kind of more comfortable with being in the paint. And
just a fun note, Ken Palm does have lines for these games. They have Washington State winning by 1. But that doesn't factor in the home matchup, essentially, for Drake being in Omaha. Drake in Des Moines, Iowa to Omaha, I think is what, like a 2.5 hour?
2.5 maximum.
So a home game for them for sure compared to Washington State. So that could be the deciding factor that tips the scales.
Final first round pick of this round is Iowa State, South Dakota State, two more Midwest teams. I would assume, as much as most of us hate the Cyclones, we are not choosing them over South Dakota State, but I could be wrong. Does anybody object to that statement?
No, you would be correct.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll give me Iowa State.
And then
Yeah, Iowa State.
do we want to finish the East?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's finish out the East. Let's go back up to the top. You have UConn against Northwestern. This is going to be, I think, a tough matchup. Like I said, Northwestern's taken down Purdue before, so it's not uncommon to see them win against such a tough team. But I'm not the one who gets to make the picks. So Ty, give me some stats here. What are we thinking?
As we said in last week's episode, I think Connecticut could win the whole thing. I think UConn is dominant. They're better offensively. They're better defensively. Connecticut plays slow, relatively, whereas this Northwestern team does kind of like to go fast. But being in the Northeast, being in New York, it's essentially a home game for UConn. So go ahead and give me UConn.
Yeah, I think this pick's fairly obvious. I'm taking UConn.
Parker?
Yeah, I'm gonna take UConn as well.
Okay. So that's 3 for UConn. Do any of the two others object? Josh?
No, the only thing that Northwestern leads UConn in is 3-point percentage, which at 39 and 37. So,
okay. Heading into the 4-5 matchup. Now, I know that San Diego State was kind of a sweetheart last year. However, they're going against number 4 Auburn, who we all know is a tough team. Who are we picking for this one?
Auburn. They're just shooting the ball really well. I don't think San Diego State's going to be able to keep up. I think they're going to be able to push the pace of the game and really force San Diego State to play Auburn basketball.
Yeah, Auburn's got a great defense, and I don't think San Diego State can do the same thing they did last year. So I'm going to take Auburn.
I too will side with Auburn in this one, but interesting to note that San Diego State, being such a defensively known team, does play notoriously slow. Whereas Auburn has one of the higher, a top 60 tempo in the country. So, and they do tout a really high, number 4th overall defense in the country as well. If it comes down to a tight game and a paced game, their defense can keep them in this one. It's really going to come down to who dictates the pace. If Auburn dictates the pace, I could see Auburn running SDSU out of the gym. But if this is a slower tempoed game that San Diego State's dominating the tempo of it, I think this could be a little bit of a sweat for the Auburn fans.
Right. And then Cole, any comments on that one? Seems like everybody picked Auburn, but
I originally had gone with San Diego, but I don't know. I kind of want to go with Auburn, just looking at their matchup.
For sure.
Sorry, my fridge is making a weird noise. I'll be back, boys.
All right, heading to number 6 BYU versus number 3 Illinois. So another former Big Ten team there, or current Big Ten team, I should say, taking on, as Ty would say, the Super Soakers of the NCAA. Is there somebody specific, or is there anything specific, Ty, that you like about this game?
I do like this game a whole lot here. BYU is interesting. Again, I'm one of those people that's not high on Illinois. Again, what would we say? 48th overall defense for BYU and 11th overall in offense.
Yep.
BYU doesn't really turn the ball over, but they also don't create a lot of turnovers. Rebounding wise, surprisingly, offensively, BYU is 63rd in the country, and they don't allow a ton of offensive rebounds as well, being 24th in the country. So these guys really do hit the glass hard. And they don't turn the ball over a bunch, like I said. I think if it really comes down to it, I'm going to take BYU strictly because of how good they are shooting the three. However, they are the second highest team in the country as far as point distribution goes for the three-pointer. They rely on the three. So if they don't hit their threes, there's a chance they don't even make it out of the first round, let alone to face Illinois here. But if they're hot, they're hot. So give me the Super Soakers.
The parity in these teams is really crazy to me. But and everything I'm looking at in points for, points against, 3-point percentage, free throw percentage, and adjusted offense and adjusted defense, Illinois is just that much better in every single category except for adjusted point differential, where they're separated by 1.5 points. For that reason, I'm going to go with Illinois. But Tyler touched on the threes, and he said if BYU gets cold, it's going to be bad. But if they get hot, look out.
Yeah, the as far as Illinois goes, 3-point wise, they're the 214th best team in the nation defending the three. So I think BYU is going to try to light the scoreboard up from behind the arch.
All right, so we have a current split vote at 1-1. Clark, who are you taking?
Give me BYU. I know Illinois is a great team, but historically they haven't been great in the tournament. And Big 12 teams have been good in the tournament. So just based off of that, I'm going to take BYU.
All right. And then Parker, are you going to end it right here? Or are you going to keep it going?
No, I'm gonna end Illinois' dreams right here. I like BYU here. I know we all know Illinois likes to crumble somewhere in the middle of this tournament. I think BYU is a good team, and if they start, like Ty said, if their threes are running hot, then they're going to be a scary team to face.
Worth mentioning, Illinois is also a Big Ten team, and Big Ten teams are notoriously bad in the tournament.
Yeah.
Let's get to the next one, though. A 33-mile grudge match separated on I-35. I mean, wow.
Yeah, Drake is, from Des Moines, Iowa State from just north of Des Moines in Ames, Iowa. Some would call it Lames, but, to each their own.
Let's let Clark start this one.
State.
Yeah, Clark,
You really think 10-seeded Drake is going to beat the number one defense in the country? You are mistaken. It's Iowa State, no questions asked.
So Clark
I don't know,
goes with
man.
Iowa State. Parker, who you choosing?
I don't know. I mean, I don't like Iowa State, but like they're playing good basketball. So like Iowa State should win this matchup, but like come on, the Bulldogs, baby. The Bulldogs. There's always a chance.
They're definitely a fun team to pick. So it sounds like who's your final pick going toward in this game?
Yeah. Give me fucking Iowa State. Doesn't
Dog.
make any sense.
Yeah.
Cole goes with Iowa State. Parker goes with Iowa State. Ty and Josh, are you guys the same way?
Yeah, give me Iowa State. It's fun to see Drake, but I think it's going to be too much. Again, that game in Omaha, Iowa State's going to travel just as well.
Did anyone see Kansas City?
I'll say it. Something's pulling me to Drake. Maybe it's the embedded hatred for the Cyclones. I don't know.
That's what I'm saying.
I really don't know, but I have a guttural feeling that it's Drake.
There's a reason we're a 2-seed. We're a great
Because
team.
you're not good enough for a 1-seed.
Because UNC gets favored because they're a blue blood. That's why.
All right, let's get to the Sweet 16.
Yeah, so we have UConn, number 1 UConn versus number 4 Auburn. I think this is where you guys finally start to make it a little bit tough
Time to get
because
some Dukes.
I know everybody's so hard on Auburn.
It's UConn. As much as I love Auburn and would love to see them, UConn's going to win this game.
I'm right there with you. I think UConn goes to the Final Four, if not winning the championship. So
Tyler, how well does UConn shoot free throws?
Let me pull up for you. UConn free throw shooting percentage. They are 89th in the country with 74.2.
And that's exactly why UConn's going to win this game, because Auburn fouls at one of the highest rates in the country. They have 19.2 personal fouls per game.
Interesting. My thing with Auburn here is going to be Auburn. Everybody, their big thing is like, how are they going to handle being outside of the jungle down there? And their fans will travel. But my big thing with UConn, it's so hard for me to pick against them when they're playing home games the entirety of the tournament. The environment's going to matter. UConn has the experience over Auburn. Interestingly enough, on my March Madness app, with the stats that I put in, these two teams are dead nuts even. With the stats that I put in, with their importance, these two teams are dead nuts even, and it says to take Auburn, but I will take UConn here.
Yeah, Ty, I'm the same way. Mine actually favors Auburn here, but that's only by 1%, which is pretty much a toss-up. But I really like UConn here. It's going to be a really good battle, but I'm going to go with UConn.
This will be a 1.5 or a 2.5 point line. It's going to be this could realistically be the best game of the tournament if it comes to fruition.
All right, and then let's go down to the the Sweet 16 game, the other Sweet 16 game. It's number 6 BYU versus number 2 Iowa State. Have these two teams played each other this year? Because it sounds familiar.
Probably. They're both Big 12 teams.
Yeah, Big 12 teams. BYU actually beat Iowa State at home, if I'm not mistaken, right, Clark?
Yep, and that's the only reason they beat us is because it was at home.
No, I'm talking about BYU beat you guys in Ames, wasn't it?
I can't remember.
I know we
split games.
Fucking got them.
I'm pretty sure BYU beat you guys.
We won the Big 12
in
championship.
Ames.
But yeah, we did lose to BYU this year, but it won't happen again.
Sorry. BYU lost to Iowa State 68-63 in Iowa
twice.
State.
We played twice and we lost to them.
Iowa State in Provo.
Yeah, so
87-72. Where would this game get played at? Is my question.
Out east. It would
Was
be
it a tournament?
Played out east,
Is it
right?
Pittsburgh?
Why don't
Not
they
sure.
show it now?
Here's my thing. They're both Big 12 teams, which means they play extremely similar competition. And against that extremely similar competition, the Super Soakers score more. They allow a little bit more scoring to happen. I mean, their defense just isn't number 1 in the nation, but they're better at shooting the three. They're better at shooting the free throws. Adjusted offense, and they got a 8-point spread on Iowa State. Adjusted defense, it's a 9-point spread. It's going to be tight. I'm going to take the Cougars here, mainly because I like Drake last round too.
So we have Josh is going with BYU. Clark, you are with Iowa State, I assume.
Yeah.
So it's split 1-1. Parker, who you going with?
I don't know here. I haven't watched much Big 12 basketball, so I'm gonna take BYU because like I don't like Iowa State. So
Cole, what do you have for us?
go
buddy?
BYU.
Is Cole? I don't know if Cole's here. I think he's still trying to fix that fridge.
Fridge.
issue
He
has.
he said to throw it to him. So
Where you at, Cole?
He's coming. He's coming.
Stella's being a fucking loser. I was gonna have her pretend to be me. I'm definitely gonna go with Iowa State just because they're a better overall team, and also fuck them. Fuck State, but fuck it. Sorry, we're drinking.
So we're split 2v2 right now.
get Allie.
Tie.
Allie. Tyler,
I'm
abscond
saying
from voting.
is
Abscond from voting.
One team and this made it to the Big 12 championship, and one team got knocked out.
That's
the
where
semifinal.
I'm a Hawkeyes fan through and through, but I would say seeing BYU lose to Texas Tech 81-17 or 81-67 is a little too much for me to go ahead and take BYU. So I will take the Cyclones, but let me go see what she says. Let's just see if we're on the same page.
So
Who's the split?
So we have we have one upset through the entire thing.
So Iowa State won that. Tie was a split. Iowa State won that. Tie was a split, but he's going to see what Allie says, either Cyclones or.
Well, she's gonna pick the Cyclone because what the fuck's a Mormon?
She said Cougars.
He said Cougars.
Oh,
called it. I knew she said that shit.
Well, a Cyclone's not an animal, and it's an animal draft. So.
Well, we are
It's
going.
It's a mascot draft. It's a mascot draft. Any mascot, but she would say take the Cougars. She said.
So Allie was definitely the winner last year, but the rest of the crew is going to have to ride with Iowa State in that one because that's what the majority went to. However, that does bring to the Elite Eight a UConn versus Iowa State, a 1 seed versus a 2 seed. Final game, fellas. Who are we picking?
We already know I'm taking Iowa State.
Clark's going with Iowa State. Josh?
If we play anything like we did against Houston,
UConn's offense is just so fucking stifling.
Clark, how do you guys do defending the big man? How do you guys do defending the big man?
So we cycle our big man a lot. So we always got a fresh guy in. That's all I'm saying.
Gotcha. I don't think I can see it, and I'm gonna have to go ahead and take UConn here and just be super chalky.
That's fine.
And then Cole, who are we taking?
Goddamn Huskies.
And I'm going to take a wild guess and say Parker is also choosing the Huskies, which means number 1, UConn is going to move into that Final Four slot of that part of the brackets.
Boys, we went. How many? Can you go back up to that? How many upsets did we even?
We had one.
One.
It's the issue when you have five inputs.
We had BYU over Illinois.
Northwestern.
I don't yes, upsets happen, but this part of the bracket just doesn't feel like it. That's where a lot of upsets are going to happen.
No, this part's fucking loaded, but
I feel like the upsets happen over on the south side.
We need to pick this up though a little more.
Yeah, let's head into the west part of the bracket. We have North Carolina versus either Howard or Wagner.
Howard and Wagner are both negative game script teams. North Carolina, no question. Let's move on.
Correct.
Mississippi State, Michigan State. This is going to be one that we got to get our dukes up for, boys, because this is going to be an interesting game. I think this line's going to be tight.
I'm going to go Michigan State. I'm going to go Michigan State just because.
I'm going to go Michigan State because on Thursday's show, I said I liked them as one of our longer odd teams. Michigan State, they still got Tom Izzo. They have the coaching pedigree to do it. I just like Michigan State.
Well, can we hear Parker's opinion that he was saying?
Yeah, no, I'm going to agree with Josh as well. I think Michigan State, they got set up for success here. They're a team that's always sticking around and poking their nose in this tournament. I'm going to take the Big Ten here because I feel like it's going to be a tough battle, and their experience from this spot is going to show. And I think Michigan State should be able to pull out a first round win.
Also, Mississippi State's only here because of the absolute god run that they had in the SEC tournament, whereas Michigan State was probably in prior.
All right, so Michigan State, I think, is who everybody has moving on. I don't know if anybody's necessarily on Mississippi State. I think this 12-5 matchup next is interesting as well. St. Mary's versus number 12, Grand Canyon.
Yeah. With this one, their field goal percentage overall is the same. 3-point percentages are like no different from one another. The better free throw shooting team is Grand Canyon. Grand Canyon allows more points, but that's because they don't play at the same slow pace as St. Mary's does. I'm gonna take Grand Canyon here, boys, over St. Mary's, strictly just to outpace St. Mary's. I don't think St. Mary's is going to be able to hang with one of the best offenses in the country. It's what it is for me. However, GCU does foul a lot. So that is pretty hard.
GCU also turns the ball over a lot. But St. Mary's doesn't force a lot of turnovers. Both these teams are really good defensively. Something's telling me GCU, man. The Antelopes or whatever?
Yep.
Yes.
The Antelopes.
Give me the Antelopes.
So we got 2 for GCU. Clark, who do you pick in?
I'm riding with the boys. I'm taking the Antelopes, baby.
All right.
Squad ride on GCU.
I'm there too.
Ride an Antelope.
All right. So let's go to number 4, Alabama versus number 13, Charleston. Feels like an obvious pick for most of the people here. Is there anybody?
Most.
Bama.
Who has an opinion?
I think they can outshoot Alabama.
Maybe, but they can't
They
outscore.
give up 72 points per game, where versus Alabama's giving up 81. They're
But they only
fouling more
score
per
80.
game.
They only
They're
score
off-
80, where Alabama scores 91.
No.
Alabama's
Whatever.
the second best offense in the
Whatever.
country.
Their opponent efficiency is lower. Fuck them. They're
Yeah.
also getting way more bench points per game.
Ethan,
So-
if you go down to that
That's where I'm
create
going.
custom analysis, you can choose what you
Yeah.
want to see down there, and we can see if like we agree to those terms, you can see what we want to see specifically.
You guys want to see what? 3-point percentage?
Just
Fast
keep
break.
it right in the
Fast
middle
break,
and you'll get
fast
everything.
Yeah.
You know,
What are you guys talking about?
Are y'all taking? All right. While you're doing that,
Pace.
Ethan.
Game
Speaking of Charleston.
I'll just leave it.
Speaking of Charleston, 99th overall in Ken Palm, 24th in assist to turnover margin. So they don't turn the ball over a lot. 34th overall in just straight up turnovers. They're 22nd in rebounds, 24th in offensive rebounds. And like Cole said, great like team basketball here. They don't even have a player that's averaging over 13 points per game. They take the third most 3-point attempts in the country. However, they don't get fouled a lot because they're not crashing the paint a whole lot. They're 260th in free throw attempts. So I think this game is going to be a blowout. Or not a blowout, a shootout rather. Go ahead and give me Alabama, but more importantly, I think the over is in play here. I don't know what the number is, but I think I'm going to go with it.
I fucking love the over.
Yeah.
You guys keep mentioning their depth. They do traditionally run a 9-man rotation. 4 of those 9 shoot over 36% from 3.
Yeah, I was about to say they're scoring a lot of points off their bench, which is what you want to see going into this tournament. So I mean, if Alabama's not conditioned well, they could end up losing just based off condition and not having enough stamina for it. But
and
I
Tyler,
do think Alabama
sorry.
should win this game. No, you're good. Go ahead.
Tyler, you mentioned that they are one of the highest volume shooting 3-point teams in the country. that coupled with their high 3-point conversion percentage, I think we take Charleston here. I really do.
Thank you.
So we
This
are
game's gonna be a lot closer than what we think. I think
For
So-
sure. I mean, without knowing the line, unless it's like a 3 or a 4-point line, I think Charleston's in play.
So we are 2-1 on Charleston right now. Parker, who do you take in this game?
see that's the thing. I would say Alabama, but I would love to see a Charleston upset because fuck Alabama in that spot. But like trying to just be for certain.
This is projected double-digit line. Projected.
Yeah.
Just we talked about a lot about Charleston's 3-point percentage and how much they shoot it. It is worth noting that Alabama, they're 63rd in the nation in defending 3-point, so not a bad 3-point defense at all here. In a game that I think could be close in a shootout, that's why I leaned Alabama was just talent-wise at that point. But sorry, Parker, for cutting you off, man.
No, you're good. I'm gonna stick with Alabama here, but I do think it's gonna be a close game.
So
But-
3-2 going to Bama.
Yeah.
Now I think we're going this next one. I think just from our conversations during the bracket reveal, this feels like an upset for the team, right? Number 6 Clemson versus number 11 New
Mhm.
Mexico.
I think you're correct there, Josh.
Because
Tyler,
statistically,
what
New
numbers do you
Mexico
have for us?
is the better team here.
Yeah.
So this game is a super interesting one in the sense that the sports books actually have New Mexico favored here, which we talked about in the last part 1 of this episode. New Mexico being the 23rd overall in Ken Palm, where, as I said, Clemson was 34. New Mexico with the 41st ranked offense and the 23rd ranked defense. Clemson's countering that with the 27th best offense and the 67th best defense. I like New Mexico here, as we've talked about, like much of us do. So I think this is an appetizing upset spot for sure. In the classic 6-11 spot, they sorry, New Mexico's a worse free throw shooting team. Actually just a worse shooting team overall. However, they get more points in the paint than Clemson does. They steal the ball more than Clemson does. They out offensively rebound Clemson. They get more second chance points, have a higher assist to turnover ratio. They out rebound Clemson overall. I think this one's going to actually be New Mexico pretty handedly, maybe by 2 possessions, 3 possessions.
If I also may add, I mean, they're getting almost double the amount of points from turnovers too. So
Yeah.
So it sounds like we are riding on New Mexico in this game. Was there anybody? I don't think we had the majority of people fighting against that.
No.
And then Baylor Colgate. I'm gonna guess everybody's going Baylor on this one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Worth mentioning, something I do like about these lower seeds is they tend to use deeper rotations, which, if they're conditioned well, can run Big Six teams out of gyms. Colgate does run a 10-man rotation. 6 of those 10 shoot over 35% from behind the arc. So if they get hot, watch out. They can't really, they don't rebound well on the offensive side of the ball because they have so many guys shooting threes, but they are locked down on defense, top 10 in the country in opponents' points per game.
Notable about Colgate here, 5th straight NCAA appearance, and they have not won one of those games.
So
pretty good defensively, 11th overall in opponents' points per game, 31st in opponent field goal percentage. However, they're terrible at shooting free throws, and they do play kind of slow. So I think it's going to be Baylor here pretty handedly.
Baylor, interesting enough, Baylor is 225th in opponent effective field goal percentage, 51.3%. So not the greatest defensive team ever on the 3 line.
So number 7 Dayton versus number 10 Nevada is our next matchup. Who are we feeling on this one?
So in part 1, this was my upset pick, and I'll stand by that with Nevada. Slightly best 3-point. Slightly worse 3-point shooting team. However, they have more points in the paint. They get more steals. They're a better rebounding squad. They convert those turnovers. So go ahead and give me Nevada here in this one, not to just go into them as far as I did in part 1. So,
Tyler, I agree with you. The books agree with you. The books like Nevada here. So yeah, without going to Nevada.
So that's 2 on Nevada.
I think I'm gonna follow the Hill brothers here. I like Nevada as well.
We're all there.
Okay.
I think this is an upset here too. I think Dayton. They're not going to win this one.
Number 2 Arizona versus number 15 Long Beach State. I'm going to guess everybody is leaning toward Arizona.
No conversation. Move on.
Yeah.
All right. So that brings us back to number 1 North Carolina versus number 9 Michigan State. Anybody have a conversation about this one? Because I feel like we all are leaning one way on this, but I could be wrong.
Nope.
No,
Moving on that one.
UNC.
And then Grand Canyon versus Alabama, the 12 versus 4.
See, this is where we're going to have a conversation, because if we think Grand Canyon beats St. Mary's here, the style of play they have to play with to win that game, I think there's a conversation about them beating Alabama here. Am I crazy?
It's more of a conversation of Charleston beating them.
Yeah, I think this being a 12-13 matchup is a lot more likely than people want to give it credit for.
I don't think you guys are far off from that statement. So, I mean, just be looking on the lookout for when these 4 teams are playing about what goes on, because a lot of interesting things can happen here.
It's good on good. It's defenses. Alabama's
offense is
really good offense against Grand Canyon's really good defense.
The only issue, which I did talk about in the first game with GCU, is they're 228th in the nation in turnovers and 266th in fouls. I mean, my numbers on my March Madness app actually say Grand Canyon is the better team here.
Mine do too.
But my struggle here, right, is
one of them's a major conference team.
If we're going as a team here, as the Tavern Sports team, to make a perfect bracket, we already took a stretch of having them beat St. Mary's. So it's almost better to go chalky in the sense of a perfect bracket. But my numbers do actually lead Grand Canyon here.
I do too.
Hey, 12 seeds have gone to the Sweet 16 and beyond before. Why not this one?
I mean,
they have a side to do it on. They found a little sliver of hope.
Yeah, this side just doesn't. This West just does not feel as good as the East.
Okay, so let's get final picks.
No.
Parker, who are you going with?
I think I'm gonna snipe out Grand Canyon here.
Okay, Josh.
Grand Canyon.
Pick? Grand Canyon. Tyler, pick.
Alabama.
Alabama.
Fuck.
Clark, who's your pick?
Alabama.
We're split. Cole, who's your pick?
Alabama.
Better. That's a tough one though. And if Grand Canyon beats St. Mary's, don't be scared. Get a ticket on Grand Canyon money line. Definitely spread for sure. There's a chance, but I think Alabama's talent is just too much.
This next one, I don't think there's much to discuss. I think it's going to be Baylor. One of New Mexico's worst. one of New Mexico's worst traits is defending the 3-point line, and one of Baylor's best assets is attacking the 3-point line.
Tyler, you disagree?
No, I don't. I mean, trust me, last week we talked about I personally think Baylor could make a run here in this tournament. New Mexico is a better offensive rebounding team. They generate more points from turnovers. They do get more second chance points. They have a better assist to turnover ratio. They have better rebounding overall. It's not unfathomable to see New Mexico here, is all I'm saying. I will personally have a ticket on Baylor, but just for the sake of it, go ahead and give me New Mexico here in the Lobos.
Clark, where are you at?
I'm going Baylor because we did talk about it last week a lot, and I was one of the ones fighting for Baylor to make a run, so I got to stick to it.
1-1 split. Josh, who are you picking?
No, I already picked Baylor.
Oh, you already picked
2-1
Baylor, so 2-1 split. Parker.
Tyler, I can see that clown tickling your itch over there why you want to take New Mexico, but I'm just going to be a good friend and watch from a distance. So I'm going to take Baylor, and you keep that tickle because it could pay out at the end. You'll learn some lessons from it, or you might be a lucky lad.
Cole, who would you have taken for shits and giggles?
I am also on Baylor.
Okay.
I mean, going into the next game, I also think Arizona is a way better team. But I have Baylor going to my Elite Eight.
So that brings us to the next game. Number 10 Nevada versus number 2 Arizona. Is there anybody who is not on Arizona?
No.
Okay.
I think we're all on Arizona.
Okay. So you have yet again, or I guess we didn't have it the first time, but this time we have the 1, 2, 3, and 4 seed in this side of the bracket. Number 1 North Carolina versus number 4 Alabama. Who are we feeling in this game?
See, I think if Bama gets here, I think Bama gets it.
I thinking the same thing.
North Carolina's going to turn it up.
So let's do a vote quick. Clark, who you taking?
Bama.
Parker, who are you on?
North Carolina.
Split 1-1. Cole, who are you on?
North Carolina as well, but I have them in my own personal bracket beating Charleston.
Okay. And then Tyler, who are you on?
I think this is going to be an interesting game overall. Nobody's going to have the home court advantage because the Elite Eight, which is where this would take place, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
This is either going to be in Boston.
I'm sorry. This is Sweet 16.
This is the Sweet 16.
This is Sweet 16.
Gotcha.
No.
Yes.
North Carolina, right. Bama would be Elite Eight, I thought.
No, it's Sweet 16.
No, it's Sweet 16.
Because there's 4 in each bracket.
Yeah. So Sweet 16 locations are in Boston, LA, Dallas, and Detroit. None of those give a home advantage to anybody. These guys being in the West, I'm sure they're playing in the LA, right? So I'm gonna say Bama here. Actually, no, I'm not, because they've cost me a lot of money recently, and they've lost a lot on the road. Give me North Carolina. Give me the Tar Heels.
And then Josh, for shits and giggles, who would you have taken?
I said Bama already.
Oh, okay. Okay, so Baylor, Arizona, the number 3 versus the number 2. I think this is where probably, I don't want to say this is the toughest game that we've had, but this is in this bracket, this part of the bracket, I think it's the toughest one we've had.
I like Arizona here. I think this Clark's not gonna like to hear this, but I think they might be the best 2 seed this year. I'm curious what you guys are using on your calculations that Ethan has on the screen right now.
No shot. No shot. I'm giving up those trade secrets.
And what yours has, because mine has Arizona favored here by a good amount.
For perspective,
Yeah,
I have
mine
every
does too.
single thing clicked on mine, and it has Baylor matchup analysis score 52.4 out of 100, and Arizona 71.6 out of 100.
Yes, mine is also very lopsided to Arizona as well. However, I will be against that at this point. I think it's a feel thing for me, and I will be taking Auburn overall. I just can't get over Arizona's losses. To me, like they didn't beat Purdue, they didn't beat Florida Atlantic, they didn't beat Washington State either. At times they played them. So those are the three tournament team. Oh, they did beat Duke, but that was the second game of the season. I just against top tier opponents, I don't see it. This is the year that they kind of, to me, either feel like they're a total bust or they could win the entire thing. But the Baylor Bears are tickling my fancy this year. So I'll be with Baylor, even though the analysis is completely lopsided.
So Ty, you're with Baylor. Josh, who did you go with?
Zona.
Cole, who are you picking?
Give me the Bears, baby.
2-1 Baylor. Clark, who you taking?
Let's go. We're going Arizona.
We're split 2-2. Parker, break this tie.
Yeah.
Bring it home, baby.
I see why Baylor has your attention. And I also see the appeal to Arizona.
You mean
every
Bama?
time Parker's set with a decision, he's like, well, I see this. Let me raise you this.
Yeah. I get it.
He talks
Baylor
sports
has
like
been
Parker
playing
plays
really
Clark
good
plays
basketball.
poker.
And
What's your
Arizona,
pick, Parker?
I'm going with Arizona.
Thank you.
Arizona beat Alabama in December.
You guys are disgusting.
So final pick, you have UNC number 1 versus number 2 Arizona.
You guys are we're 1-2 and 1-2, and we're total chalk right now.
This is what happens when you have 3 people, like 5 people. Odds are more people are going to go to the higher seed. That's just what happens.
But like, I have 1, 2, 1, 3 because I have Baylor. So like,
okay, but we're making a team. Like if I told you mine right now, it's not even close. But I'm putting in what we're doing so that I can give matchup info. But like my personal one wouldn't be anything close to what we've done.
Yeah, I'm same here.
Anyhow, another 1-2 matchup, guys. What's up?
Let's go.
I do have a feeling everybody's gonna go with the 2 seed on this one. I'm not gonna lie. Clark, let's hear your pitch on this. Who you going?
What is it again?
It's Arizona
UNC.
versus UNC.
Oh, Arizona.
So we have 1 for Arizona. Ty, who you picking?
I see Baylor beating Arizona, so give me North Carolina. I know in this bracket we should talk about it. The numbers that I have picked favor Arizona wholeheartedly, but I don't think Arizona gets there. So give me North Carolina in this sense.
So we're split 1-1. Parker, who you picking?
I like Arizona.
2-1 Arizona. Josh goes Arizona. So we're going to go with Arizona, but for shits and giggles.
Whoa.
Who would you have picked, Cole?
North Carolina. Isn't that
Okay.
2-2?
Obviously, he's a beat.
No, that was still 3-2.
What was that, Josh? What was
You're
that?
a UNC meat writer.
Meat writer.
I just wish my name. I just wish
Air Force all football season.
I just wish my name was UNC, bro. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, whatever. Suck my dick.
So let's head into the South. Number 1 Houston versus number 16 Longwood.
I think we should go Midwest next.
Okay, we can go Midwest.
I just like last one, best one is the South. I think.
Okay, so let's do Midwest. We have number 1 Purdue. versus 16 Grambling State, Montana State. Neither one of those teams are winning. Number 8 Utah State versus number 9 TCU. I think everybody was on TCU, if I'm not wrong.
I was.
Was there anybody? Yeah, I was about to say.
My numbers say TCU.
Okay. Number 5 Gonzaga versus number 12 McNissy.
Yeah, McNeese was my upset for the first round, so I'm gonna stay with them. My numbers also have them.
Is there anybody? It sounds like we're all on McNeese.
Better 3-point shooting team, slightly worse free throw team, better defensive team.
So Tyler has 3-point percentage, field goal percentage, defensive efficiency, rebounding because he's mentioned it.
They're better off the bench.
They generate a lot of steals and then convert those into points. Yeah, I mean,
was there a points off turnover feature?
Yeah,
I didn't even see that. Fuck.
So you guys are taking McNeese?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm differing. It's going to be different. I would pick Gonzaga here, but I'm not going to win. So
Gonzaga and St. Mary's both just come out of a fraud fucking conference. Like when you have to play 2 real games a season.
I don't think Gonzaga is a great team. I just think they're going to win 1 or 2 games and then get knocked out like they always do. So I have them winning this one.
All right. Next game that we have is Kansas number 4, Samford number 13. Is anybody not picking Kansas?
I'm not.
I knew that was happening.
Any objections? Any other objections?
I mean,
sir.
My numbers have Samford as a 2-1 favorite over Kansas, and we don't even know if Kansas is going to be healthy. That's where I'm coming from.
I don't think it's
Kansas.
I was about to say I don't know if it's the wrong pick, Josh. I don't think it's the majority.
Yeah, no, I mean in a majority rule setting, I'm not going to get it. But
my numbers also go with Samford here. However, much like the Alabama Charleston matchup, I think talent just wins out here. I think it's a big dog versus a little dog.
Talent's got to be healthy though.
Let's go into number 6, South Carolina, number 11, Oregon. Is anybody not riding the Gamecocks here?
Go Cox, baby.
I'm flying with the Ducks, and I'm a cock rider.
Oh, okay.
Clip it.
We know.
I knew exactly what I was saying. I knew I was giving you guys a clip. I don't care.
Yeah.
Okay.
So how many cock riders are there?
I was about to say I heard at least 2 for Oregon. So Ty is Oregon, Josh is Oregon.
God, I wish I had that picture of Tyler in his Oregon Duck hat in the fucking downstairs bathroom mirror.
It's circulating somewhere.
That's an all-timer, man.
It's circulating somewhere.
Parker, who are you picking?
I'm gonna go with the Gamecocks.
Okay. Clark, who you taking?
I'm also going with the Gamecocks.
Oh, Cole, it comes down to you. Who you picking?
Can I give Cole some numbers from
No, because I am also going to ride that cock all night.
Fuck.
Yes, brother.
All right, just for putting it out there for the listener, South Carolina, 46th offense, 54th defense, 49th overall on Ken Palm. Oregon, the 50th offense, 70th defense. So I think this is going to be a scoring game. I don't think there's going to be I think the offenses win out here, and that one will be a super exciting one to watch no matter which way it goes.
All right. Next game that we have is going to be another Midwest team, Creighton, going against number 14, Akron. I know that you guys, your reactions were all slightly different than mine when hearing this game, so I'm curious to see what everybody picks.
Just like an NCAA 25, I will be picking the Zips here. My numbers favor them. It's probably not a great pick, but also I've found that personally in this Midwest region, I've gone with the 9, the 12, the 13, the 11. Now you're going with the 14 and a little bit of a look ahead. I'm going with the 10 as well.
So we have one for Akron. Ty, who you picking?
Give me Creighton. Kalkbrenner's too good. Ohio, that team out of Omaha is just too good. Creighton.
Split 1-1.
Where's this game being played?
We
East
said it was
Coast.
in Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh.
Yeah, and Creighton doesn't play well out east. Also, Pittsburgh, like a 4 or 5 hour drive for the Zips fans. It's gonna be a Zip home crowd.
Clark, who you taking?
Give me Creighton.
2-1 Creighton. Parker, who you taking?
Creighton.
3-1 Creighton. And then Cole, who would you have taken?
Akron.
Thank
Really?
you, Cole. I love you. I knew I loved
Yeah.
you.
They just get more. They get more points off the bench, and I think their points off turnovers are way higher.
Okay.
For me, that it makes a lot of sense in my head.
And Creighton doesn't force turnovers. They average 4 steals a game.
Now, this next game is arguably the worst game of the first round. Number 7 Texas versus number 10. It's either going to be Colorado State or Virginia. It's either way, it's a shitty game.
Who do you guys have coming out of that 10? I don't like that I can't go and
View it.
Yeah, view it. I don't like that.
Oh, that's why this show paid for a Ken Palm subscription. So let's talk about it. Texas, 19th best offense efficiency in the country, 61st in defense. Let's find Colorado State and Virginia here. Virginia, 194th offense, but 7th in defense, a top 10 defense here. That's why I think that Virginia will beat Colorado State, is just they've never seen a defense like that. But Colorado State, 38th overall team in Ken Palm, 42nd offense, 38th defense.
Who's that?
Colorado State and Virginia.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good numbers.
So, Ty, who's your official pick?
If it's Virginia that comes out of there, Virginia. If it's Colorado State, I think I'll take Texas just because the level of competition. But UVA faces better competition than Texas. So give me UVA personally.
Okay.
And I hate that. I hate that I'm doing that. I want everybody to know that.
Tyler,
Their basketball,
Indiana
their
State
brand
anyway,
of
so it doesn't
basketball
matter.
disgusts
Tyler,
me.
I'm with you on this, specifically on UVA, just because Texas does not shoot threes very often. They are 232nd in the nation in 3-point attempts per game. And if Virginia gets on them and keeps this game close, or God forbid pulls away a little bit because their defense is that good, Texas just isn't going to be able to get back into the game.
Side note, this is a 1.5 point game in that 10 seed play-in. It's a 1.5 point game.
Favored who?
Colorado State.
For the 10 seed here, the play-in game, you guys took Virginia, you said?
Yeah.
So I'm going to actually pick Colorado State to win that game, but I think Texas does beat Colorado State if they win that game.
Tyler,
What would you
State,
say if it was Texas, Virginia? You think Texas wins that one too?
Yeah, I think Texas still wins, but I think it's a lot better game than Colorado State puts up.
Tyler,
Gotcha.
if Colorado State comes through, you think Texas gets it?
I do, again, off of a talent situation.
Okay. And it's worth mentioning, you don't have to lock your bracket until that game's finished. So
Correct. But for the sake of the show, I think it's best we take the for sure team in Texas.
I like Texas. That's where my pick is going.
I'm on Virginia. I thought you said you were on Virginia, Ty.
I am, but since I can't guarantee they would be there, I think Texas beats Colorado State. So
Let's leave it to Cole. Cole, final pick. Who's winning?
So
It's Texas. They both fucking suck. It's Texas.
Texas
Gotcha.
wins. Texas wins. And
all I'm saying that if Colorado State gets through, Ram wants us to pick the Rams. He's picking Colorado State, but
And then Tennessee versus St. Peter's is the 2 and 15 seed. Tennessee is winning that one.
Whoa, that's what
Mhm.
everyone said last time Peacocks made it to the Sweet 16. All I'm saying.
Good point.
But Dougie
Still
Buckets
taking
isn't there,
Tennessee.
so
Here is the next one. We got 1 Purdue versus 9 TCU. This one might be
TCU.
interesting because I think that people think that Purdue can be the first 1 seed out.
yeah, I'm on TCU here.
There's 1 TCU. Clark, did I hear you say that
I
you were
see Clark
TCU?
nodding.
Okay.
TCU.
So 2 for TCU. Parker, where are you going?
Yeah, I mean, TCU is a fun team to root for, but all my stats are showing that Purdue should handle this game pretty nice. Yeah, I know Big Ten notoriously bad in this tournament.
Now I'm really curious what your stats say because my stats have TCU favored by almost 10.
See, I have TCU favored by 1.4. My main concern, and I checked on KenPom, defensively, TCU is 207th in the country against facing the 2-pointer. So maybe Zach Edey goes off here, but give me TCU because fuck Purdue.
Take him in the fucking knee. Who cares?
Yeah, I'll
So
take
that's-
TCU.
Okay,
We'll
that's
squad right TCU.
squad red. Allie would also take
Ooh,
TCU for the
I
record.
don't like that.
Too bad you got outvoted. Get shit on.
So-
I also had Utah State beating TCU.
So your bracket's going to look different than everybody's, Cole.
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
mine's not going to look anything like ours.
so
Same.
next game, McNeese is going against Kansas.
Kansas.
McNeese.
Split 1-1. Clark, who you taking?
Kansas.
Kansas 2-1. Parker, who you taking?
I would take Kansas there in that matchup.
Kansas wins 3-1. I know Ty stepped away for a moment.
Just all I want to say is in my numbers, McNeese literally doubles up Kansas.
Yeah, I would say it might have the same thing.
My
But you
my
went Kansas
numbers
anyway.
my numbers also suggest Kansas by a landslide, but suggest McNissy by a landslide. So give me
Based
Kansas.
off everything,
I'm
I have
taking-
Kansas winning by a landslide.
Based purely off vibes for Cole. Number 6.
I have every single thing clicked on my analysis buttons.
Number 6, South Carolina versus number 3, Creighton.
Did South Carolina win? I thought we were gonna win that one in our thing.
No, Cole decided.
Yeah,
South
Cole.
Carolina.
Okay, that's fine. I was just looking for some clarity.
Give me Creighton.
Over
Just not-
Tennessee,
Over
No, I'm talking
over South Carolina.
Over South
Oh.
Carolina.
I like that.
Where would this game get played at? Out east?
This would be what, the Sweet 16?
Elite Eight.
Midwest.
Or sorry, round of 32, Tyler. Round of 32.
Oh, round of 32, and they're in the Midwest district, right?
But Creighton's out east. They're in Pittsburgh, right? This will be in Pittsburgh.
Yes, I believe this will be in Pittsburgh.
So not really a favored crowd. South Carolina is technically closer.
Yeah, this will be in Pittsburgh.
I mean, I don't have a vote here. I don't think either one of these teams is making it to this game. I guess Creighton because I think they're more likely than South Carolina to make it to this game. But
Is anybody against Creighton?
No.
I had South Carolina, but it's fine.
And then
We took Texas here against Tennessee.
oh, my bad. You're right. There it goes. It kept switching back to it. That's why. Number 10 or number 2 Tennessee versus number 7 Texas. Is anybody against Tennessee?
Down on Rocky Town.
I'm not against Tennessee against Texas. But if it wasn't Texas, I don't know. I'd have to look at the numbers. But
All right.
Give me Tennessee for sure.
Yeah. Number 9 TCU versus number 4 Kansas.
Dude, the numbers are so bad for Kansas on my
Kansas
metrics.
is awful. Kansas is so bad on my metrics. But I would have McNeese here. I'd have McNeese winning. So I guess if we're saying Kansas beats McNeese, then give me Kansas. But
So 1 vote for Kansas.
Give me the Hypno Toads to upset.
1-1.
I think McNeese might be my highest rated team.
Yeah, I have McNeese on my bracket out that far, and it says that they're gonna beat TCU.
I've gone through two sides of two fucking regions, and they're the highest rated so far.
Give me Kansas.
2-1 Kansas.
Bill Self knows how to win games in March.
He does. That's a fact.
Cole, you gonna split us?
Nah, give me the Jayhawks.
Jayhawks win 3-1. Clark, who would you have taken?
I would have taken Kansas.
Okay. So 4-1 win. Now you have Tennessee versus Creighton. I have a feeling people are going to go toward Tennessee.
Yes, I am.
Anybody not going Tennessee?
I'm not.
Oh, Ty's not going Tennessee. Anybody
So-
else?
Wait a minute, brother.
I'm going Creighton as well.
What are you doing, brother?
Hold up, brother.
Oh,
Creighton.
okay. So Clark goes Creighton. Ty went Creighton. Parker, are you going Creighton? No. Okay. Cole, who are you going with?
Tennessee.
Tennessee. John.
Tennessee's so bad in March, dude.
So
Yeah.
I have the breaker.
Yep, you have the breaker.
Oh, go Rocky Top, hey, Rocky Top, Tennessee.
So Tennessee
Was that
wins.
fucking Taylor Swift singing? That was good. Look at you, Josh.
I wasn't on a choir in 6th grade. That's all I'm saying.
Tennessee wins. Now you have number 4 Kansas versus number 2 Tennessee.
Number 12,
Kansas
State.
Ooh,
I
Cole
love a
says
good 4
Kansas.
seed. I love a good 4 seed in the Final Four. Assless
Kansas
Chap.
is just so bad in my metrics, man.
I don't like my Final Four.
Even the basic metrics have Tennessee winning this.
Give
Give me-
me Tennessee. I just have, at this point I have no faith in Kansas because
We're split 1-1 on Tennessee, Kansas.
Give me Kansas here. The NCAA tournament has not been good for Tennessee ever. This is their 26th appearance. They've never been to the Final Four. Their last Elite Eight was 2010. This team lost to St. Peter's. Okay. Like, this team does not do well in March. I didn't want to take Tennessee over Creighton. I'm definitely not taking them over Kansas.
So they got that white boy. I don't even know what his name is. I know he won SEC Player of the Month in February though.
All I know is I want Tennessee so somebody else can make the tiebreaker pick.
That was a tiebreaker pick, but
Oh, was it?
yeah.
Wait, what was it? I haven't picked yet. What was it?
I know. Well, Clark, you hadn't picked yet, but it was 2-1 toward Tennessee. Parker made the third pick.
Oh,
I would have picked Kansas.
Tennessee's defense is just so good, and defense travels.
All right. And so final side of the bracket, we have Houston number 1. They're winning. Number 8 and 9, Nebraska and A&M. Is anybody not choosing Nebraska?
I'm not.
This
Is Ty the only one?
mine has this as a 50-50, and you got to have an 8 seed win somewhere. So why not Nebraska?
I mean, I like what Nebraska has been doing, but we just watched them absolutely melt against Illinois. And Texas A&M here is from a conference that does better in the dance traditionally than Nebraska does, than the Big Ten does. So go ahead and give me A&M.
Yeah. Point of order question: how many Big Ten teams do we have making runs? Because we might have to go with A&M just to save ourselves.
I don't think we have
Ten
many
does
Big.
not-
I don't think we have Northwestern losing in the first round, right?
No, we have Northwestern losing in
Oh.
the second, Illinois losing in the second, Michigan State
State
losing in the
second.
second.
Yeah, okay, that's what the Big Ten does. They lose in the first or second round,
Yeah.
out by the
Yep.
first weekend. So
Give me Texas A&M here.
So Ty's on Texas A&M. Is anybody else on Texas A&M?
That's Texas. Oh, it's Texas A&M. My bad. I was looking at the Texas Tech matchup. No, I'm on Nebraska still.
All right, so Nebraska's still going to win that one for us. Number 5, Wisconsin versus number 12, JMU. I think this is the
Give me
This
the
was-
Dukes.
this was the number 2 upset that I think we were looking at, or number 2 possibility wise.
I have all the 12 seeds. I have all the 12 seeds going. Let's go. Or no, I don't have UAB going.
With I 12-5s can't win them all. Give me Wisconsin here. James Madison's strength of schedule is just so bad. They've played nobody, dude. Nobody.
I'm also taking Wisconsin.
I'll
As am
go.
I.
They don't score on the free throw line. I mean, they shut down the 3-point really well and they shoot the ball well, but they just haven't played anybody. Whereas Wisconsin's played tough, hard-fought games. Out of this area here in the South, I would have rather seen us take Wisconsin over Nebraska. You know what I mean? Like, out of those 2 Big Ten teams, I'm more confident in the team that has tournament experience.
Wisconsin's been playing good too as of recent.
Well, and they
They had
just
a
won the
stretch-
Big Ten tournament.
No,
they
they
had
got
a
second.
stretch.
Lost to
Or
Illinois.
second. Might be.
They had a stretch there where I think they lost like 7 or 8 games in a row though, but they bounced back and they've looked good.
Yeah.
All right.
Um,
Number 4, Duke versus number 13, Vermont. Is anybody not picking Duke?
I feel so damn bad for this Vermont Catamounts team, bro. They never get a good draw, but this team is so good. 31st in assist to turnovers, 11th in fouls. They don't foul people. 23rd in opponent field goal percentage, 9th in opponent's points per game, 46th in defensive rebounds, 45th in opponent 3-point percentage, and 349th in tempo. They play lockdown defense and they grind the ball out. I said earlier in the part 1 that they could do damage to a turnover prone high seed team. Do we know, is Duke notorious for turnovers this year?
I was about to ask you that question, honestly, Tyler, because
I thought somebody looked it up earlier and they had the same turnover rate as JMU at like 9 turnovers a game or something like that. So,
well, no, Vermont has the same turnover rate at 9 a game, and that's really low. That's like top 15 in the country. So this Vermont team, they don't turn the ball over at all. They run a 10-man rotation. They don't get tired. Tyler, can you get Duke's turnovers numbers, Tyler?
I'm trying to pull it up.
They're
now.
31st in the country, 14.3 turnover percentage.
What's the
So
Catamounts?
they don't turn it over. They don't turn it over. A lot.
They don't turn it over often.
What's the Catamounts steals like? Like, do they get after it like that, or
They get they're 32nd in the country steal percentage.
not steal? What's the actual number? Because I don't know what steal percentage is. I don't know how that number gets found. It's an advanced analytic.
Hold on, I'm trying to find it.
Like, I think this game could actually be the 13-4 upset. I'm not even kidding you, but Vermont always gets a tough draw, but nobody wants to see them. I promise you, you don't want to see them. Like, they could fuck up somebody's dance really, really bad. Clark,
So
are you also on Ken Palm?
I'm on both KenPom and MM Live using both their stats, kind of comparing.
Okay.
So
Ken
you
Palm
said you
is-
wanted
That's why.
you want per
I
game.
want-
You said,
I want how many steals Vermont averages per game?
oh yeah, 5.9.
Okay, so they don't force a lot of turnovers.
No,
so let's do final picks then. Josh, who you taking?
I think the fact that the Catamounts can't force turnovers, although they don't turn the ball over much themselves, I think that's going to do them in here against Duke. But if we end up going Vermont here, I'm not going to be upset.
Tyler,
But
who you taking?
I think Tyler's going to go Vermont, but he's going to lose the fight. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Vermont and not love it, but there's something about them.
Parker, who you taking?
Give me Duke.
2-1 Duke. Cole, who you taking?
I am also going Vermont.
Oh, we're split right now. Clark, you're that
I can't cheer
tiebreaker.
for fucking Duke. What the fuck?
Thank you, Cole. Thank you, Cole.
Clark,
Hmm.
you're our tiebreaker, dude. It's 2-2 right now.
Give me Duke.
Yeah,
Duke.
figured.
All right, so
Sorry,
Texas.
Ty.
Fuck that shit. Fuck that shit.
They don't turn the ball over and they don't force a lot of turnovers. The only way they were gonna win was if they got a team that was sloppy with the ball, and Duke is not that. So
And that's the thing. Like, if the Catamounts were forcing 8 turnovers a game, maybe I'd probably sway to your side. But the fact that they don't do that, they're averaging what 1.25 per quarter. It's just not enough.
All right, so Texas Tech, NC State. We have the 6 versus 11.
Give me the Wolfpack,
We have 1 for NC State.
and that's just because they're hot, and they got that duo, and it's a pretty good duo.
sorry, my numbers say NC State as well. I don't need
Okay.
to go into it.
My numbers say Texas Tech, but this is a vibe pick.
Park, who you taking?
I'm going NC State as well.
Okay.
Strictly on vibes.
Strictly on vibes, he says.
So NC
Texas
State
Tech
wins
is
there.
24th in the Ken Palm rankings overall, though, guys.
I
20
was not going to take NC State. I was taking Texas Tech, just so everyone knows.
Okay, Texas Tech 23rd in offense, 45th in defense. Like we're kind of we're saying there. So I don't blame you, Clark. NC State 47th in offense and 89th in defense. I'd like to see how that defense number was during the conference tournament because they won all those games. So if the defense stays hot, I think they're good.
All right. So now we have number 3 Kentucky versus number 14 Oakland.
Oakland 138th in KenPom, 1-5 versus quad 1, 39th in free throw percentage, 40th in fouls. Give me Kentucky. Oakland just doesn't have enough going for them.
Yeah, they're pretty good at 3-point defense, and they are the best 3-point shooting team. So I will take Kentucky. And the reason that I find that important is because Oakland has we had on the rundown. Yeah, they got 2 shooters that are absolutely out of their mind. They got one guy that's shooting 37% from 3 on over 300 attempts, and another guy shooting 36.9% on 225% or 225 attempts. So that's why that was so important to me.
So Josh is going with Kentucky. Parker, who are you taking?
I'm taking Kentucky.
Okay. Cole, who are you taking?
He's taking Kentucky.
Yeah, and then that's enough for Kentucky. So
yeah,
taking Kentucky too.
Okay. So next game, Florida versus either Colorado or Boise State. Is anybody not taking Florida?
I would like to see Colorado maybe sneak one out if they win and beat Boise State. But I have Florida.
Colorado's got a great shooting team, though. 3-point.
That's
honestly,
what I'm saying. If
I know we're not talking odds, but Colorado is favored by 2.5 in this play-in.
Yeah,
I do like Colorado there.
Okay, so let's.
I like Colorado, but I don't know if I like Colorado against Florida, though, is the problem.
I'm going to take Florida just because Colorado just got picked apart by Oregon last night.
Yeah, that's fair.
So Josh goes with Florida. Parker, who are you going with? Florida.
What? I heard you guys asking for me. What's going on?
Yeah, it's fine. Are you on Florida or the play-in?
As long as the play-in's Colorado, give me Colorado. Colorado ranked higher in Ken Palm rankings than Florida. Or did you guys already go over this?
No, you have the Ken Palm count
sorry.
right now.
Colorado 26th in Ken Palm, 25th ranked offense, 42nd defense. Florida 14th offense, 83rd defense. I think the 25th best offense of Colorado the 83rd best defense of Florida. However, screams over to me. But go ahead and give me Colorado over Boise and Colorado over Florida.
Yeah, if Colorado's in there, I'll take Colorado over Florida.
So we're split right now. Cole, who you taking?
Give me Florida if it's Colorado.
Wow. Colorado 2.5-point favorites over Boise in the play-in right now. Just saying, that's where the line's at.
Did mention that already. Yep. Interesting. No, I think we're gonna.
So it will be Colorado.
We're gonna give Marquette this bye here, I think, but my numbers have Western Kentucky.
Gross.
I like Western Kentucky just because their mascot posted a picture of him getting head. So
Nice.
My numbers also say Western Kentucky.
Well, and there's also that dude
Mine
on
do as
TikTok
well.
that's like the biggest Western Kentucky fan in the world. I don't know if you guys have ever seen him, but he's good vibes.
Is the pick still Marquette on that then, fellas?
Yeah,
I'm
let's
taking Marquette.
Okay. And then number 1 Houston versus 8 Nebraska. Is anybody going outside of Houston? Everybody's sticking with Houston.
much as I
Okay.
hate Houston.
Next game is Wisconsin versus Duke, number 5 versus number 4. Where are we deciding on that one?
Duke.
I'm taking Duke as well.
Anybody super opposed to that?
No.
Okay.
The Big Ten making their exit in the second round looks perfect to me.
Okay.
yeah.
NC State versus number 3 Kentucky. Anybody against Kentucky?
No, as much as
after
I'd love to see NC State win, but
Yeah. After a 6-game win streak, NC State runs out of gas. There's your headline.
All right. And then Florida versus Marquette, 7 versus 2.
Marquette.
1 for Marquette.
My numbers got Florida.
Marquette. I don't think Florida makes it there.
2-1 Marquette. Parker?
I want Marquette.
Okay. All right. Houston and Duke face off. Who's taking home that game?
Houston.
1 for Houston.
Duke, because
Good
fuck
too.
Houston, and I'm tired of picking them.
2 for 3 for Houston.
Okay, that's Houston.
Oh, I'm on Duke. I think Duke gets them like Iowa State did in a pace game.
Nice. Hill brothers riding together. Love to see it.
Clark, I'm surprised you picked Houston here, to be honest.
I think that. I mean, I watched the game clearly, but they're still a really good basketball team.
Yeah, but I mean, all they need is one team to come out here and jump on them. I mean, I know we didn't talk about it.
See, my thing is,
I just want to ask the question to be thorough. What is Longwood's offensive numbers like? Or can they run Houston out of the gym or no?
No.
Okay, because if they could, yeah, maybe a sideways glance at it. But
188th in offense.
My thing with them getting jumped is that just happened in the Big 12 championship. I don't think it's going to happen again. Getting beat by 29 in the championship game, I think their boys are going to be pretty ready for what's to come.
so are we 2-2 and waiting for a tie break? No, it was me and Tyler versus y'all three, right? So Houston's going on.
The Houston pissed off angle is a good angle, though, Clark. I do like that.
It is.
Yeah.
So it's going to be number 3 Kentucky or number 2 Marquette against number 1 Houston. Who are you guys taking?
Kentucky.
Kentucky, baby.
2 for Kentucky.
Oof.
Also there with Kentucky. I'll just break that one right there.
There
Okay.
you go. And I think Kentucky runs and shoots Houston out of the gym.
I picked Kentucky here as well, just because I've seen Marquette. They can't get offensive boards. Granted, they've been without their big man. They've been without Kolek, but still, nobody else is crashing the boards.
All right. A quick insight into number 1 or number 3 Kentucky. or number 1 Houston or number 3 Kentucky, I should say. Kentucky is definitely up on some of the stats. We are up 2-0 on votes for Kentucky in this game?
For Kentucky over Houston?
Yes.
In that matchup, I take Houston.
So 2-1 toward Kentucky. Anybody else want to speak their piece?
I'll tie it on Houston. I am
mean-
also going to go on that they're pissed off line because I think that makes sense.
I'm also gonna go with Houston.
Houston.
Wow, fucking really?
We have 2 number 1 seeds in the Final Four.
Kentucky is just the 5th best fucking offense in the country, guys. And they're not slouches on defense either. They are kind of slouches on defense.
But they're playing one of the best defenses in the country, hands down.
Yeah.
We just watched Iowa State jump down Houston's throat. I do not see Houston beating Kentucky.
I'm not trying to call that game a fluke game because I'm an Iowa State fan, but that was not supposed to happen. And it's not going to happen again.
All right, so let's look at number 1 UConn versus number 2 Arizona. Ty, you have something to say?
Yes, with Houston, everybody knows they're a notoriously slow-tempoed team. Much like Virginia was in the past, those teams don't often win the championship. Virginia in 2019 is about the only one who ever has. Me personally, looking at our Final Four we have, the only team I like being in there is UConn. So give me UConn to win the whole thing in this scenario.
Yeah, what is our Final Four?
It is UConn and Arizona and Houston and Tennessee. So right now we're on UConn, Arizona. Ty picks UConn.
UConn.
Clark's on UConn. Cole's on UConn. Everybody's on UConn.
Yeah,
Goddamn fucking Huskies.
UConn's repeat to lose, honestly.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then Houston, Tennessee on the other side of the bracket.
Tyler hates both these teams.
I do hate both these teams.
Houston.
I hate both these teams.
H-Town.
Tennessee does so bad in the dance, but in this matchup, if this is the matchup, Houston 17th offense, 2nd defense. Tennessee 29th offense, 3rd defense. But Tennessee's pace is so much faster. Give me Tennessee in that matchup.
1-0 Tennessee.
In this head-to-head, I'm taking Tennessee, but if Kentucky was there, I'd be on Kentucky.
2-0 Tennessee.
I want Houston.
2-1 Tennessee.
Houston.
2-2. Cole, you're our
I know where
tiebreaker.
Cole's going. Put Houston in the championship. I know where Cole's going.
All right.
Ding, ding, ding. We have a fucking winner.
Wow, 2-1 seeds in the final.
Okay, so
There-
2-1 seeds in the final with you fellas at the moment. We have UConn versus Houston. I know Ty already said he was on UConn. Clark is on UConn.
If Kentucky was here, I'd take Kentucky, but I'm taking UConn.
UConn's our crowned winner.
UConn is your winner of the Tavern
Score?
Sports 2024 March Madness tournament. The score will end up being
69-69.
I feel like
Let's
that's
do it.
the
I don't
feel like
hate
that's
it. I don't
the-
hate it.
Give me 78-67.
Wins the national champion in a blowout.
It's a 9-point game. That's not a blowout.
we'll do
this would be like a 3-point spread. So
we'll do 60. We'll do 69.
Congratulations.
We'll do 69 to 68 just because that fits our brand perfectly. All right, that is going to do it for this episode of Show Me the Money. We know it was a long one. Thank you for sticking with us. Make sure to go and create your March Madness bracket on March Madness Live. If you join this group, Tavern Sports 2023, the winner will receive a Tavern Sports pocket tee as well as some stickers. There is no code to
Free
it.
of charge.
The only stipulation being that you have to make sure that you are following one of the Tavern Sports social media pages. So Make sure
Follow
you
a
go.
page, drop some likes, drop some comments, leave some reactions on
Retweet.
some posts, retweets.
Um,
Get that shit up.
As
guys,
long
do we
as
want to do?
through
I'll be
Spotify.
here for
Follow,
an
like, and
episode.
subscribe, brother.
I'll be here for an episode Wednesday to break down the lines.
Me too.
That is going to do it for this episode. Like we said, make sure you download the March Madness Live app. Join the group Tavern Sports 2023, and you will be entered to win a shirt and a couple of stickers as long as you are following one of the Tavern Sports social media pages. That is going to do it. Everybody have a great night. Thank you for joining Show Me the Money.
Show me the money!